Hello, my name is Megan Chen, and I've been a practicing speech therapist for the past 23 years. I'm so glad you found this video because I'm recording some information that will help people with a stuttering problem. Okay, first of all, this would help people with a stammering problem as well. Stuttering and stammering are just different terms used in different countries to talk about the same thing. So just to clarify what we're talking about, there are three types of stuttering behavior. First is what we call repetition. So this is where you repeat a sound or a few words, where you go, I wanted to say that. Okay? So that's the first one, repetition. The second type is what we call a prolongation, and it tends to happen with certain sounds, like W sounds or L sounds. So it might sound like this, where you say, why did you say that? So we have repetition, prolongation, and the third is what we call a block. And this tends to happen when the stuttering is a bit more severe. So it's literally where the sound gets blocked and you can't get the sound out. So it sounds like this. I was trying to say that. Okay, so we have repetition, prolongation, and blocks. So essentially, the working definition of stuttering is where there's an involuntary block or interruption to the flow of speech. So this is the information that I'd like to share with you. It's not so much for people who may have more of a language issue, where maybe because you're not sure of the vocabulary or the sentence structure or the grammar rules, you find yourself hesitating and not be able to say something fluently. So you may be thinking, oh, what was it that, what do you call this? He's being hypocritical. So we're not talking about issues like that. Stuttering is when you know exactly what you want to say. Maybe exactly what you want to order in the restaurant. Maybe you know exactly the name that you want to say, or you want to complete a sentence in a very specific way, but you just can't get the word out fluently. Okay, so in order to know what will help, you may want to know what are some of the myths or what doesn't help. And one very common myth is when people try to be helpful and tell you, okay, you know what, just relax or just be more confident. Okay? Now, that's a myth because the fact is all the research about stuttering have shown that when you look at people who stutter as a group, now they do not show any specific personality traits that actually distinguish them. So they are not more neurotic, they are not more anxious, they are not more highly strung or whatever you want to call it. What they have found, what the facts are, is that stuttering has been found to be a speech problem related to the neuro-oral motor control. Okay, now what that technical word means that it has to do with how the brain controls the different speech muscles used for speech. Right? So there is an interruption with how the brain is controlling all the different movements. In fact, one of the most important things you want to know about research evidence is that they have found that people who stutter are actually using very different parts of their brain. So a CT scan would actually show the brain, being engaged very differently, different parts of the brain being used. And so much so that basically the person who stutters is speaking in a very different way fundamentally, even when there is no stutter. So even for a part of the sentence where you don't hear any stuttering, the person who stutters is actually speaking in a very different way. So he or she is actually using different parts of the brain. The aerodynamics in the vocal tract, are different. The way the muscles are used is different. The muscle activity in the different speech muscles are different, and so forth. So what that means is that for your friends or people around you, it's going to be very difficult for them to actually help you and show you what you have to do in order to be fluent. Okay, so what will actually help you? So speech therapy research has established that there are specific ways that you can speak where it's actually virtually impossible for you to stutter. So you'll be learning to speak in a very different way. It's like a speech technique. You can think of it as what sportsmen do. So when somebody hits a ball or kicks a ball in a very specific way, now it may look like they're just, doing it very normally, but they're not. A world-class tennis player or footballer actually kicks in a very specific way in order to achieve very predictable results. So that's one of the things that I've been working with my clients in our therapy sessions. And over the years, what they've shared with me is that there is this, one or two speech techniques that help them achieve the best fluency fastest with the best results. And I found myself actually reviewing all the different techniques and putting some tips together. And what I've ended up with is actually a very self-contained program. So in this program, I will show you how you can learn to speak in a different way and, more importantly, apply to different sounds. Now, another common myth that you will encounter is you might come across, maybe if you read somewhere online or in books, okay, speak in this one particular way and it's going to help you, speak fluently and, don't stutter anymore. Now, again, if you think about it in a different context, imagine if you hear a tennis coach saying, okay, learn to hit a ball this particular way and you'll be the next tennis champion. What are you going to do? You're probably going to run a mile because you know that, when a ball comes at you, it may come at you at lots of different ways, different angles, different directions and so forth, and you will need different techniques. It's the same with speech as well. This is one reason why some people may find that when they try to follow up tips here and there, it doesn't work for them, or it's very inconsistent. It works one day, it doesn't work the next, I don't really know how to do it, it's a different word and so forth. That's because there are lots of different sounds in English when you think about it from A to Z. And they're produced, there are different sounds because we produce them differently. For some sounds, we use our vocal cords. There are actually sounds where we don't use our vocal cords. For some sounds, we use more of our lips. For some sounds, we use more of our tongue. For some sounds, we use different parts of the tongue, or we actually use the sounds very differently. So you need to actually deconstruct all the different sounds in order to get a much better grasp of how exactly I'll be able to speak fluently. And that's what I've done in this program. So in this program, what you get will be videos of me actually demonstrating the techniques. Okay, and to ensure that you get it right, I show you exactly what to do so you can actually hear and see what it's supposed to sound like. I show you what not to do. Okay, and more importantly, I show you what I think is the game changer, which is how to practice. So I literally take you through, step by step and show you how you're going to apply this technique, how to get this tool, and then to master this tool so that you're able to use it with different people in different situations and so forth. Okay, after years of experience, I have found that unlike what I would have previously thought, a lot of people decide to take action, not so much because, okay, they need it for what I call very practical reasons or functional reasons, like, okay, I think this is holding me back from my career, I think this is holding me back in my studies and so forth. But after a while, people actually mention that the reason they decide to take action is, for no other reason than the fact that you would like to be able to speak your mind. You'd like to be able to free to say whatever you like. Say what you want, when you want. Okay, as someone put it, he mentioned that when I go with my friends in a group and everybody has got ideas about what we're going to do tonight and so forth, you know what, I just want to be able to contribute as well. It doesn't have to be something really earth-shattering or really brilliant or award-winning, but just the fact that I would like to speak up. I would like to have a say, in communication, in conversations. So this program is designed to benefit you if you find that, one, either you've never tried any speech therapy before, or maybe you have tried it, maybe when you tried it when you're much younger, and you would just like to have your own kind of like home study program to go with it, so that you can complement some of the progress that you've made. Okay, so if you'd like to find out more, you can click on the order button if you're already on our website, or if not, you can go to the link below. Okay, thank you very much.